If Drake May is a third and longs, he better be ready to run. Drop this. Sinbad said in one of his stand-ups, drop your butt and run. That's what Drake May better be ready to do if they are third and sevens, third and longs, because Hunter and Anderson, these dudes are sharks and they're going to attack. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about that when you're in predictable throwing situations against the Texans.
On the hilltop and ran many miles to be the best. Don't know what team I'm on, but I'm like how you see my chest. Look my uniform, I'm having it proudly way I'm dressed. The more I'm getting better, me more you getting worse. And thinking we competing, but not the same first.
Texas Patriots. I think this is going to be an ugly game. I'm gonna say that first. This is going to be an ugly game. Because of the inexperience. You know, you saw the Patriots won an ugly game. Mike Vrabel, he won an ugly games all the way to a Super Bowl in his days in New England. But they won an ugly game last week. Even the Texans, the game was ugly. The score wasn't ugly. The game was ugly. And I think that's going to happen again because of both of these quarterbacks is going to get some very good defensive line play. Like both of these quarterbacks are. And it's going to come down to who could cut down on mistakes. I think that the Patriots, they have the running game to negate some of that for their quarterback, even though if they put them in third and long, if Drake May is a third and longs, he better be ready to run. Drop this. Sinbad said in one of his stand-ups, drop your butt and run. That's what Drake May better be ready to do if they are third and sevens, third and longs, because Hunter and Anderson, these dudes are sharks and they're going to attack. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about that when you're in predictable throwing situations against the Texans. So if that running game is not happening for the Patriots, which I think that's what the difference is going to come down to. Now, I'm not saying that the Patriots is going to have to dominate the ground in this game. I just think that they're going to be able to make the few first downs, the few inches that you need to get that extra field goal. That's going to be the difference here in this game because I don't see these quarterbacks showing out. Both teams, both quarterbacks are playing against good defensive lines play. I think the running game is going to be the difference for the Patriots to win this game here.
So you're going Patriots.
Going Patriots.
Okay. This was tough. Nico Collins was just rolled out yesterday with a concussion.
Mm.
Before that news, I was leaning heavy towards the Texans, real heavy towards the Texans. What we saw last week from actually both teams had me sided towards the Texans. Like I said earlier, the Texans won a 24. They won by 24 against the Pittsburgh Steelers when their starting quarterback had 3 turnovers on the road. That never happens. If he has 1 turnover, they win that game by way more than 24 points because that defense really just gets after everybody. I don't see Drake May figuring this defense out. Aaron Rodgers couldn't do it. Drake May, second playoff game of his career. Is he going to be able to figure out this defense? I don't know. This one is the hardest game of the weekend for me to call.
Mm.
The inexperience of Drake May versus the dominance of this defense. But like I said, Nico Collins is out. So we're going to need a Christian Kirk legacy game here with a lot of Woody Marks. Woody Marks had a really good game last week, over 100 yards on the ground. I don't think C.J. Stroud chokes the way he does like he did last week, even with the win. I'm going to have to go with the Houston Texans. The experience of this defense, C.J. Stroud has been here a little bit more than Drake May. I like the head coach quarterback combo slightly better than I do Vrabel and Drake May. I think Houston comes in here. It's going to be an ugly game as well. I think we're going to get some snow as well. It's supposed to be in the weather forecast, but Houston played well in bad weather last week or real cold weather last week in Pittsburgh, so I don't see that phasing them at all. I got Houston winning this thing.
The point that you made about CJ having those turnovers and still winning the game, I think that's an anomaly. I think and I think it works against them. I think that just shows how bad the Steelers are, and with adequate team, 2 turnovers would have lost that game for the Texans. You know what I'm saying? That's what I take from that situation. I think that's going to play a factor. That's not going to overrule because I brought up the edge rushers for the Texans, right? And Drake May going against them. I think that that CJ Stroud factor is going to balance that situation out. So they're going to be attacking Drake May, but at the same time, CJ ain't going to be giving up them nothing on the other end. And then the
Mhm.
Patriots run game is going to be the difference at that point. That's how I see it.
Right. Like I said, that Nico Collins being ruled out,
Yeah.
it really scares me a lot because they have Christian Gonzalez on the Patriots side who can really lock up as
And
well.
they say, yeah,
So
we'll
yeah,
roll everything
now
away
he
from
can
them.
really now you can really take away CJ Stroud's number one weapon. You don't have
Yeah.
a strong receiver. It's like but I'm just gonna have to go with the better defensive team and the little bit more experienced team at the end of the day.
And
But
I'm glad you brought that up because
mm,
that's what happened. That's a part of what happened against the Chargers. We were talking about this, and I'm surprised for a Harbaugh-led team to get away from their identity like that. Um, they were supposed to. My point was they were supposed to protect Justin Herbert by running the football. They went away from that, and then they wanted to throw at Christian Gonzalez. Like,
yeah,
come on, what
I
are you
saw that.
doing? Bears versus Rams. This is gonna be like if you're an enthusiast of a football fan, my team ain't in it. The Buccaneers is out, but this is some good football here, man. This divisional round, Bears versus Rams. Um, this should be a good game. I think that Matthew Stafford is not going to let this be a good game. I the defense, the inconsistencies of the Bears, which showed last last week, the inconsistencies of the Bears defense because they was getting worn out early in that game, and then they just tightened the screws or the Packers. That's not happening here. And who you are always shows up. And you mentioned it last week that the Bears have an inconsistent defense. They've been very opportunistic, and that's worked for them. The Patriots have shown that you can win. The Chiefs have shown that you can win with an opportunistic defense. If you got something going on the other side of the ball, it's just where you got the Rams defensive line, and you got the and Matthew Stafford, who he said he ready to go. You could tell his finger was messed up last game against the Panthers. They started out the same way. The Packers started out against the Bears. It looked like it was going to be ugly, and then you could tell that Stafford throwing was being impacted, and that changed the momentum of the game. And then the Rams defensive was not able to close the door like they was in a position to close the door prior to. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think that the Rams defense, the Bears show that Williams can be rattled. He does have to see it. We talked about this last week, and I even mentioned once you brought it up about his inexperience, how he's a guy who strikes me if he hasn't seen it, it can't impact it. But he's the type of guy once he does see it, he can overcome it. You saw that in one game last week. He had seen it. He struggled. They adjusted. He was able to overcome. That's not going to work here. I think the Rams defense is going to be able to rattle him, and I think that the dynamic play of the Rams offense is going to overwhelm him. It's going to be too much, and I got the Rams here.
So this game is going to be real ugly. Ugliest game of the year so far. There's really bad weather in Chicago.
Mm.
So one would try to lean towards Chicago. I know a lot of fans are saying Chicago, weather, Chicago. I got the Rams winning this one as well. Chicago doesn't play good defense at all beside turnovers. They allow 27 rushing yards, or they're 27th in rushing yards allowed per game, 22nd in passing yards allowed per game, and 23rd in points allowed per game. So they're the bottom half of the league in every defensive category besides turnovers. So if they're not getting turnovers, they're not playing well. Last week they're only here because of the mental breakdown by Matt LaFleur and that entire Packers team. You got to run the ball that second half. I don't think. Well, I know that Sean McVay and this offensive staff is a little more smarter in that situation. They've been here, done that. They won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They know how to win these games. Matthew Stafford, he got a hurt hand, so we'll see how that plays out. But I think they can get that running game going, especially in bad weather. They know that Chicago cannot stop the run, so you got to get Kyron Williams and Blake Corum going here. And then when you need Stafford to make them big plays, you know who he got. He got Devontae Adams, who's been here, Puka Nacua, who's arguably the best receiver in football. You can get him the ball in the air or on the ground. As you saw last week, he had a touchdown rushing and a touchdown receiving. So there's just too many offensive weapons for the Rams to win in these ugly games, of clear weather or ugly weather games. So it doesn't matter to me. Rams been here, done that before, so I got the Rams winning in Chicago. It's been a good run for Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams this season, but there's just too much to deal with in LA. So
Yeah, and most people who don't know, Matt Stafford has a Josh Allen type rocket on his arm. It's possible his arm might be stronger than Josh Allen.
Yeah,
and so he could cut it in these conditions, and like that's overwhelming. Like people don't understand, and I want to get into this in the freeway segment in our basketball topic that I got to discuss today. But people don't understand the mental factor that plays into a competition when you have to do what you have to do to win, and your competitor does too, but your competitor does it better than you, and there's nothing you could do about it in that moment. I mean, you could go back home and train, come back stronger, harder the next time, but at that moment, it's overwhelming in a competition because you got to step up and perform at the same time, and you got this going on in your head. I think that's going to happen against the Caleb Williams versus the Rams. So he's going to see, he know how it is to practice in these conditions. He's about to go see a master spin the ball where it's not supposed to be spit. It's going to play in this. I think that's going to show in this game here.
Yeah, and I don't think the Rams aren't going to blow a lead like the Packers did last week. So
yeah.
If they get up on a lead.
This episode of Post Point is brought to you by independent insurance salesperson Wanda Washington, a local independent life insurance agent that can get you covered even with health issues. No medical exam and no one is turned down. Call or text Wanda Washington at 843-245-0206 for your no obligation quote. She could save you thousands of dollars. Just contact her at 843-245-0206 and let her help you and your family.
Your emotions in cause this loss, it might hurt, bro. Of course we came to win, got the squares out our circle. They passed me the rock, I got us running up the scope. I pass it to my partner, he gon' run it up some more. Training solo dolo, we been one on one accord. Who y'all think the hardest in this little world of sports? Win the championship and why not go to Disneyland? We can change our plans like we can go and spend some bands. I'm a team player, so a loser's not a fan. The holiday season, watching sports with my fans. No competition like no I in my team. Are they wishful thinking or is it a nice dream? And we can see them coming, no need for high beam. Decision making, change a player, just do the right thing. Wasn't with me in the gym, so how can you contest? Walk the hilltop and ran many miles to be the best. Don't know what team I'm on, but I'm like how you see my chest. Yep, my uniform, I'm having it proudly way I'm dressed. 6'2", limited bitch. Who better? I think we're better. We're cutting the hardest. You know what I'm saying? Y'all.